Hi, Bruce. Was there anything said after that second period? Obviously, there must have been some frustration. And how good was it to see your team respond the way they did in the third?
Well, it's great to see them respond. I mean, it's in the room. What was addressed after the second period was essentially we're too easy to play against offensively. We're a hard team to play against defensively. I think we're willing to play the right way, but offensively, we're too easy to play against. So, we discussed a couple of ways we can get better, harder to play against, and maybe a little more forceful manner so that hopefully the message gets across. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to get inside, find some pucks around the front of the net. And if everyone's on the same page, Dan, the puck's going to end up there, then everyone will go there, and we have a pretty good idea then, how we can rebound pucks and keep pucks alive, et cetera. And I think a good example was Jack's first goal. We haven't done enough of that. We're just get to the top of the crease, stop, pay the price we have to get a second chance goal, third chance, whatever it takes. And power play again, we got pucks to the net. So Richie gets one in a similar fashion. We just outnumber them there. So it started to come together in that regard, much better for us. Even Coyle's goal, it was a shot and a rebound, right? Like, it's just, instead of looking for a play, let's get it to the net. So it worked out for us, and hopefully it continues. And, we don't forget what, a bit of a lesson we've been going through here the first 3 or 4 games of the year.
Steve Conroy.
Bruce, after Jack's goal goes in, I know you knew that this team could score, but what was the feeling on the bench? I mean, with a level of relief, what was going on there?
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to get rewarded for efforts, and I think there was just as much excitement for Jack's first goal, but also Coyle's, because now we got something going, right? You got similar goals going to the net, shot and the rebound, stuff we've been preaching. So it's always easier to buy in when good things happen. So I think from there, unfortunately, and they got the lead again. Another goal that towards our net that's gone in off somebody. I mean, that's 4 in a row for us. 4 games in a row we've had to eat one of those goals. So good for them for not hanging their heads, and they stayed with it and kept battling, and we got rewarded.
Joe McDonald.
Butch, from a defensive standpoint, when you get offense from the back end, especially with everything that you just said, I mean, how can that help the confidence of the team as well?
Well, we've tried to build it in. I don't think we're going to have a guy that's going to lead the league, or maybe even sort of bring the point totals that we lost. But if we can do it by committee, by getting pucks to net, being in good spots to keep pucks alive, and Brandon's goal is a good example. I think we'd moved it around well up top tonight, made some plays to the forwards. That shift, or maybe the shift before, whatever it was with Grizz, he's good at, he's pretty elusive at the blue line, scans the ice, finds the open guy, and, we hit the net. We need it. Good teams in the league find ways to get their D involved. As I said, we've got some younger guys back there, pretty young in general. And then you got Kevin, the older guy, hasn't played in a while. So we want to make sure that they defend, make a good first pass, break pucks out, do that well. But they're doing a good job activating. They really are trying to get up the ice and be part of the second layer. And then the stuff we built in at the ozone blue line, just having confidence. We're fighting a little bit there. Pucks are bouncing over our sticks. That's going to happen. You got to stay with it. And we did. So glad to see our D get rewarded with, like I said, with Carlo's goal.
Joe Haggerty.
How would you describe what you saw to Tuukka Rask there in overtime, Butchie?
Well, we got to clean that up. Part of that's foot speed, attacking with speed and defending. Like a couple of them, they just came flying down, and we got to manage our gap a little better, keep them to the outside. Someone's picking up, I think we lost coverage. I think it was Kretsch in front the one time. I don't know if he thought Zaboral would drop off. But Tuukka was there for us. He had some tough luck around the net, some backdoor plays he had really no chance on. So, I thought he played obviously great in the overtime shootout, quality chances. So and that happened to us in Jersey. We gave up some good ones. But I'll say this, at least there, the game we lost in overtime, we had our share of looks from the slot as well. So if you're going to get involved offensively as a D and get caught, then, there has to be some level of reward. So that's what we're going to talk to them about. But I think at that point, Hags, you know, you've battled back from a 2-0 deficit. Things weren't going our way. So we will put that in the back of our minds at how we can get better in overtime. But we're going to focus on, you know, how we got ourselves back in the game and see if we can build it where we, you know, continue to be a threat offensively. But again, Tuukka, to answer your question, outstanding in overtime and shootouts. I mean, I don't think he's been lights out in those. So good for him. I don't know. Last year we couldn't win one to save our lives. Now we're 2-0 in them. So go figure.
Matt Vautour.
Bruce, you like the character your team showed, and with nobody in the building to kind of summon their own energy to make that comeback. Brad Marchand made it seem to think that maybe that wouldn't be as likely to happen with fans not in the building.
Yeah, I think that'll have an effect. Like sometimes it can go the other way. Your home opener, you haven't scored. You know, it could have went. You know, they might have, you know, sort of got the guys frustrated too. You never know. Their expectations are we're going to go out and play well and score. I thought we started on time again, like in Long Island. Better team in the first period, much better than the opposition. We just, again, couldn't finish. Really limited. I don't think we gave up an on-net chance. You know, so that's good all around hockey. But when it doesn't go in the other end, the other team gets life. They're going to be better. Typically what happens, no matter home road. But yes, I think it was more about us, you know, stepping up to where we need to be offensively. And I think the guys accepted the challenge between periods. And it would have been nice to hear the fans after the third period because, you know, it was an exciting period to watch and got us back in the game and then eventually the 2 points. So, but we do have some experience with that. In the bubble last year, we got to create your own energy. We've been through it a bit this year. And I think the guys are getting used to it. If that makes any sense, you don't want to get used to it. You want fans, you want the excitement home or road. But, you know, as far as that goes, the players are starting to now kind of get, you know, they accept the fact that it's not very noisy.
Kevin Dupont.
Butch, that whole aspect of being too easy to play against on offense, do you think that's attributable to you've got quite a lot of changes in the forward group? Some kids, some guys from other teams, you know, Anaheim and Nashville. Is it that it's sort of, lack of a better word, this mongrel collection that you haven't had and it has to coalesce, or what is it?
That's part of it, right? You want to defer a little bit when you're new, right? Like Jack Stanika, for example, gets a great pass in the seam. We've got them running around. He gets it between the dots. He's got a great chance to rifle it, net presence. He tries to thread one through the seam that, you know, 2 sticks. And you try to tell it. Frederick tried it again second period. You know, he's going down. He's got a chance to shoot. Got a guy driving the net. And these guys are good at this level with their sticks. So what was pointed out is those guys, it's going to happen to those two. They're new. They're new to the league. It's the rest of them, you know, that should know better. Marshy had a 2-on-1 shorthanded, great chance to get some momentum, you know, and he looks to pass. Charlie McAvoy, shorthanded, comes down the middle of the ice, looks to, you know, those guys have been in the league a little bit longer. So it was a little bit more, hey, you guys got to drive the bus here and be leaders in that regard. And so they accepted that. And, you know, Charlie Coyle, get to the front of the net. You're a big body, you know, with the puck, without the puck. He got there, puck finds him. So I think it was just a mindset that we had to snap them out of. And for some, you know, I guess today is when it hit home finally, because we have been addressing it. But to go to your question, there is a little bit of newness where a guy like Smith's probably looking, where can I make a play? Where does he want me? Instead of just playing his game and playing hockey. He's a shooter. I will say this, the puck found him, Kevin, a couple times in the slot. He was just off net, so that's encouraging. And then Rich, he's kind of finding his place here. He's been an offensive threat every game through training camp. So hopefully that continues for him. And like I said, the younger kids will live with. I mean, it's going to take a while. It's like the back end. We're going to live with some hiccups, but it's up to the veteran guys that have been around to make the game easier for us and make us harder to play against. And hopefully it snowballs for a few other guys that haven't quite hit the score sheet yet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll go last question for Coach to Jason Scales.
Yep, Coach. Just wondering, there was no Matt Grzelcyk in overtime. Was that a result of the spill he had earlier, or anything?
Yeah,
else?
there was. He was playing through some discomfort, so we did not want to expose him. He would typically be out there. It's a good pickup, but he wasn't going to be able to cover the ice that he needed to in overtime. So hopefully he's had a couple of tough nights now, a tough fall on the island and going into the boards here. So hopefully he. There's no long-term damage there, and it doesn't sound like it, but that was the reasoning behind it.